Hey, yo, 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 yo. Hey, man, it's your boy Rock from Rock Lifestyle. And this is the Black Sheep Parlor. And as always, hey, I got my man E. Yo, and also, I got my man Alan. And on our first guest on Black Sheep Parlor, we got Mr. Michael Kelley. That's right, y'all. We are bringing you guys a very unique way of actually just getting the voice out, showing you what a black sheep is all about. Different avenues, different walks of life, and we bring guests that's actually going to tell you their lifestyles and how they became what we call black sheep. So, hey, my man.
What's up, bro?
Hey, man, Mike, I just want to know just a little bit about you. Tell the people just a little bit about who Michael Kelley is.
Man, that's loaded. I'm a master barber. Been a barber for 18 years. I cut hair out of El Paso, Texas. I've traveled and educated, been sponsored by different companies, and have the privilege to meet all kinds of people from everywhere, man. And that's pretty much what I do. A family man, 2 kids, married 13 years, and awesome friends. So I can't complain. That's life right now.
I hear that, man. And hey,
nice. That's good.
A master barber. Hey, I've been to a lot of barber shops, and you know everybody talk about they the best barbers in the world.
Yeah.
You know, but what makes you a master barber?
Man, I think a master barber is someone who put the time in beyond just the regular. You know, some people are barbers because it's like a 9 to 5 to them,
right?
And there's like a master who it's their life, and I think that's what separates a master. You know, I think I read somewhere like, what is it? Over 10,000 hours of work makes you like an expert or a master at something.
Okay,
right. I definitely have more than 10,000 hours at my job. So, you know, I say master probably actually humbly. It's probably something more like, you know,
like a sensei,
shogun and shit.
Yeah.
No, not like that. Shogun. No, but it's something like that because you know, like you want to let people know that you're serious about your craft. So I just put that there instead of just barber because I'm trying to change the narrative in our history of, you know, barbers are cool, they're respected, but I'm trying to change the narrative to give them more respect, right, and to have people look at them more as a professional and someone who took their shit real serious. So,
okay. Well, I look at it as an artist.
Yeah, that too.
You know, because just to cut hair, or people ideal of cutting hair is, I can cut hair, but I can't style hair. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that you are actual a pro barber. Actually went around going to different contests, and you know, you've been put on the showcases to show what you really can do. Yeah. You know, and you know, that's what makes, to me, a person that stands alone.
Yeah.
I guess my question is this to you is, what makes you a black sheep?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. So like the whole thing was, I've always felt like a black sheep even when I was young because, and this is where art comes in, because you're talking about art and craft. Mm-hmm. We all know that self-expression is like super important to everyone, right? But when you're someone who's a craftsman or an artist of some sort, whether you're music, you know, whether you're even athletes can be artists too, but like pretty much any profession where you create something with your hands or your body, I think like there's this expression of you want to let everyone know that you're unique and different than everybody else. You're a black sheep. You stand out. And even in my family, as much as I love my family, I've always been a little different than everyone. And even my father would say, you know, son, you always march to the beat of your own drum. And I think that's interesting because in life, I feel like, you know, if you don't fall in with the popular crowd or do what's mainstream, then, you know, you're not going to get the attention or, you know, the reputation that you're looking for. Right. But, I mean, I would argue and say I'm evidence that you can be a black sheep and still do really cool shit with your life and enjoy it, you know? So like, to me, that's what it is, you know, like that's where the artist and the black sheep come together. And I've always just relied on art. Even when I was a kid, I wasn't very good at school. I drew a lot. I doodled a lot. Always drawing. Even in art class, I had an A in art. I had a C or D in math. So like it was natural, right? Right. So that's, you know, so I just pushed hard into being awkward and being different and just doing that. You know, I was the only white boy cutting black people's hair where I'm from, you know? Yeah. And so like I would have a reputation of like, oh, he hangs out with the minorities, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, you know, and I'm sure, like, people would talk shit, but at the end of the day, I never realized it. I just, like, I guess embraced it and just dove into it. So I didn't care. I was just like, I just fucking like doing this shit, so I'm just gonna do it.
Right.
I don't care if people think it's weird or different. And I remember, like, cutting hair in art class. I did a presentation once. I was my senior year, and I brought my buddy in, and I gave him a fade, edged him up. And I remember, like, a lot of people were like, what the fuck is he doing? But my art teacher's like, that's art. But no one else gave a fuck. My art teacher gave me 100.
That's what I'm talking about.
So one person that matters, the only one who mattered, like, they gave me a good grade on it, is the one that mattered, you know? So
the one that mattered.
For me, I was like, I just kept going. Like, little things like that would happen to me over time, and I just kept seeing, like, more light at the end of the tunnel, so I just kept going, you know? It was weird.
Well, I guess you can say the black light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, you know, that's a black sheep right there, dude. That's dope.
You defined your own success pretty much throughout your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's times when, like, when you're a black sheep, you feel alone. A lot of that is art, the alone feeling.
Yeah.
And you have to embrace that alone feeling a little bit, because that's the only way you pull the art out. Like, if you try not to be alone and try to do what everyone else is doing and gather lots of friends, you end up doing what they do, which is not what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And so, like, I define it by kind of being independent. To this day, yes, I've been sponsored by companies. You know, yes, I am, quote unquote, kind of popular on Instagram now. But the reality is, I didn't get there by doing what everyone else did. I always did my own shit. Like, I've always been independent. And even though these companies said, hey, give me these photos for Instagram with our logo on it, I would always be like, that's cool. But then I would save photos for myself to post on my own, because I need to save my individuality. Right. The stuff I want to do. Right. And I'm not even sponsored by those barber companies anymore, because I just prefer independence, and I prefer it's like being a rap artist or anything like that, you know, like, it's better to have your own shit, you know, and make it off that, even if it takes longer. It's just something about doing it your way.
So you build your brand.
Yeah, it's you control it, you know. And that's what I'm trying to do, basically. It's taking me way longer, but it'll happen. It just takes time.
Right.
So, you know, that falls into my next question.
Okay.
What defines success to you?
Oh, dude, I was successful so long ago that like, what we do now is just awesome. Like, everything from here on is like icing, you know?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's not the bread. The bread is already done. So, like, people think, this is what people think, bro. They think in the barber world, all right, that you have to be sponsored by a barber company to be successful, or you need to own a barber company to be successful, or you have to cut Kevin Hart's hair to be successful. And I would argue that I don't think that's true. I don't think, like, your career status makes you successful. Mm-hmm. I think, did you set out to do what you want to do, period, whatever that is. And I wanted a family, and I wanted 2 kids, and I wanted to own my home. I've done that. Mm-hmm. You know, I've bought 2 homes. You know, I have a awesome wife, 2 kids, and I can't complain. I've traveled the world already. I've done things I've already wanted to do, and I'm 35. I never thought that a pair of clippers would take me to Ireland, to Russia, to Spain. And so, like, for me, like, everything else from here on out is just like pluses, just pluses. Yeah. You know? So, like, you just do what you want to do, man. Like, set your goal, get it. And if you want to set more goals, that's fine. But, you know, I think happiness or success can be something that is like the smallest little thing. You don't have to be Dwayne The Rock Johnson to be successful. Right. You can be the guy who takes out trash, live in 9 to 5, and be totally at bliss, like totally in bliss. Now, is that my success? No, but everyone's is different. You just got to find what yours is, and just do that.
So basically, set goals. You know, whoever you are, meet those goals.
Yeah. And if you want to reestablish them, you can after that. But at the end of the day, though, if that's what you wanted to do, you did it.
You did it.
And I would say, I would just add an asterisk next to this, is that, and don't compare yourself ever, even after the goals or before the goals. Don't compare yourself, or try to set unrealistic expectations for yourself outside of that. Like I said, don't be Dwayne The Rock Johnson. There's only one Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You've got to be an authentic you. That's it.
Yeah.
Be a black sheep, 100% black sheep.
Exactly.
Like, you know, don't be someone else's black sheep. Only you. You know what I mean?
Patience is key with that, though.
Yeah.
You know, and that's funny because I don't want to say funny, but relatable. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm an all natural bodybuilder, and each time I go on that stage, all my clients always ask me, "Oh man, you gonna take number 1? You gonna do this? You gonna do that?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna beat me from last year."
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat the person I'm actually competing against, which is myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know,
Great point.
I can't keep thinking about this person. I gotta go and be the best of me.
Yep. You can't race against someone else. Right,
and that makes me successful. So I really relate to that. That's dope, brother. I like that. I like how you spun that. That's dope.
I remember Kobe said one time. Kobe Bryant said, I think when he was giving a tutorial on how he attacks from a 3-point position, that he's not worried about the defender in front of him. And I was like, but you're playing against him. He's like, yeah, but I don't think about him. Like, in other words, he's always blowing by the first guy because he's never ever worried about him. And I think when we start worrying about our opposition, quote unquote, or whatever, it's not really true. It's a lie. The opposition is ourselves.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Great point.
Only you can get yourself from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's cool. And that's Kobe is Kobe, right?
Yeah.
But for him to say it, it's like,
yeah.
But it's true. I guess the principle is true is that we can't be distracted by a defender or anyone trying to stop us from what we're trying to do, or be distracted and just focus on your game.
Right.
I mean, like you said, it's with your own thoughts. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So would you say that's a limiting factor for a lot of people nowadays?
Social media, man. That's the number one thing I wanted to come here and tell you guys today is that I'm tired of looking at social media and women looking at other women with unrealistic bodies and not being happy with their own, and barbers looking at Photoshop haircuts and thinking they have to cut like that, when really all they want to do is maybe scissor work. And maybe they want to do women's hair secretly, but they're not saying it because they feel like they have to compete with what's popping on Instagram or trending. Yeah. Right. People got to double down on the shit they really enjoy doing when no one's around. What do you fucking really like to do? Do that. And that's the thing is like people aren't doing that because they want to look at the guy who is doing this or the girl who's doing that. And it goes back to what we said earlier, being distracted by other people. Just social media is so bad, man. And I'm not, okay, let me take that back. Social media is not bad. It's very powerful is what it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
And we got to be careful in how we utilize it and what we do with it. People that have addictive personalities, Carlos and I were talking about this earlier. If you have an addictive personality, you need to control that shit and figure that shit out before you grab a phone and open up an Instagram or a TikTok, because your shit is just going to be like this all day.
Yes.
Right. You're just going to be sitting there in bed like all night. And it's going to fuck with your head. And that's what's happening. We're seeing people getting fucked in the head. That's why there's like absurd shit we see all the time. And everyone's just low-key not happy.
Well, because
I agree.
Everybody keeps gravitating to the negative parts of this Facebook and all that stuff. That's what's most popular. Yeah. Somebody falling, hurting themselves. Somebody doing this. Never when someone's actually doing something out of the ordinary, like cleaning up a park.
Cleaning their community.
You know what I mean? Cleaning their park. Painting over graffiti. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do stuff like that, then people have... Oh yeah, now I can be combative right now. Yep. Oh yeah, you shouldn't do that. That's someone's free right. That shit. It's just a whole bunch of
our values are mixed up a little bit.
Right. Yeah. But I think social media can be used in the right way.
I've seen it.
I really
Absolutely.
do. Right. You know what I mean? And the only way it can be is that we gotta make certain things cool again.
Yeah, I agree.
We gotta make being smart cool again, man. Mm-hmm. Being dumb is cool now.
It is. You see it in music,
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Oh, I can't be too creative because this is what's popping.
Yep. Or that's corny, or that's lame, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's all about growth. Helping people, inspiring people, and doing good things.
And being honest with yourself.
And being honest, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I had this conversation with Alan before, and this is kind of like what Black Sheep stemmed off of. Is we live in a highly individualistic culture, but we've forgotten to provide that value to that culture in some way or shape or form, and we misconstrued ourselves and put non-important things at the forefront.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, we put the shallow stuff up front. Yeah.
A lot of distractions out there.
Because it's easy to learn, man. Think about it. What's very shallow is easy to reach. But what's really down there, what's really gold, you got to get wet. You know what I mean? You got to get down and deep in it.
Anyone could buy a cheeseburger from McDonald's, bro, but no one can sear a steak the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right there, bro. I'm telling you, right there. That's perfect. That's a perfect analogy, bro.
Just like,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen homeless guys go get McDonald's. Not saying, I'm not going that route, but I'm saying is that's how easy it is to get shitty food. Yeah. Well, on Instagram, that's so easy to see shitty shit.
Shitty content.
Yeah, shitty content.
And we gotta, and that's why when I go on Facebook and Instagram, I'm telling all y'all this. If I like what you're putting out, I share it. You know why? Because if I like it, I want to push it. I want to show it. And I'm not talking about just the dumb stuff. I'm talking about from cooking ideas. And I cook. Y'all see what I do. I cook. You know, from workouts. I'm a lifestyle coach and a fitness coach. I'm not gonna say that everything I do is all you need to do. If I see somebody that's doing something good, God damn it, I'm gonna put it out there. And just like we're saying, Facebook, Instagram can be used in a very, very good way. It's up to you how we choose it.
Yeah,
right?
like this podcast right here.
Yeah, it's actually a great
We're spreading some good information.
So now I'm gonna jump because you know how we're gonna be. I want to beat up social media like that too much.
Yeah.
But I want to say this in your line of work. Now, to be a leader is one thing because you're pretty much on your own accord because it's like your clippers are your paintbrush.
Yep.
How do you define leadership in your community of what you do?
The barber world's changed since like the 80s and 90s where, you know, you could be a barbershop owner and literally affect a community directly. Mm-hmm. I think leadership now is more like leading by example through social media, like you're saying, use social media examples, but also I think the barber community forgot that clients are the most important thing in the world to a barber. They pay our bills, they take care of our family. And I think that's the thing. So leadership can trickle down to your clients and clients can trickle down to their friends and their community. The network in the web that's connected is sometimes invisible to us. And we don't know how we're affecting people by just being optimistic, you know, with other barbers or just your clients. And I think that's leadership. There's different versions of leadership. I read a book one time. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a leadership book that talked about different styles of leadership. You know, there are some that lead by example. There are some that are vocal. There are some that are both. There are some that are like silent, but like they just have like a way of the way they just operate. Some are leaders by invention, creating ideas that lead new paths. So there's different ways that you can be a leader, even in the barber world. I mean, you can invent a clipper that changes the fucking game one day, and you could be viewed as the leader, or invent a hairstyle that no one's ever had, be a leader that way. But I think the thing that the barber industry is probably missing the most is, like I said earlier, the human connection. Like, no longer about being really nice with the clippers and being the best. Yeah. Because that's what the barbers talk about with each other on Instagram. It's fucking stupid. I've actually pulled away from a lot of the Instagram barber bullshit, and slowed down my following probably because of it, because I just don't give a fuck about who's the best anymore. Yeah. I care about how I'm affecting people. I don't even care if my fades are the cleanest anymore, to be honest. I'm going to say it. I don't care.
they're clean, bro.
No, but what I'm saying is that it's not a goal of mine anymore.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about hair and people.
Yeah.
And how hair and people work together. You know, it's interesting that I can say to you, okay, my hair swoops to the right. What hairstyle should I get, Mike? And I'll say, well, what do you do for a living? Now we have a conversation. Wow. Right? Now I remember, okay, he does this. So he's an office guy. That means he probably likes to take care of himself before he goes into the office in front of others. So let me go with a neater, maybe a comb over look, something neat, and maybe a short fade on the side. So I start catering the haircut to this man's head shape, lifestyle, and I have to ask him more questions to prod to see what might suit him the best. See, just those little things right there enter into someone's life, and you don't realize what you're doing. Yeah. That might be more questions he's been asked all week.
Right.
You care more about him already than probably most people do in his life.
Wow.
Already.
Yeah.
And you don't realize you're doing that as a barber. You're just thinking, oh, I want to fade this up and take a picture, put the shit on the gram. Because that's where barbering's at right now.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get my cameras going and do it. And that's all great. But I think we got caught up in that for the past 4 or 5 years. And we had to go back and go, like, how about a video about how you interact in some of the positive conversations you're having in the barbershop? Right. Like what LeBron did with the HBO special was fucking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there was real talk in a barber shop that we need. We need that. You know, everyone wants to post how dope they are, but we're missing the point. You know, it's the same thing with these girls. You know, these fitness chicks, you see them. They probably have lots of plastic surgery too, and they just want to show booty all day. Yeah. But it's like, how about you explain why fitness changed your life and what you did, what steps you took to make yourself a little bit more self-confident. And when you look in the mirror and go, you know what, I am important. I am somebody. Yeah. We've heard those stories, right? But we don't highlight those. Remember when testimonials used to be the biggest thing for trainers?
Yes.
Yeah. Side by sides. You see them so much now, but people don't pay attention to them as much anymore. Like, oh yeah, cool transformation. But like, where did that go? Why don't we highlight that anymore? Like, we don't talk about that shit no more. We just want to see, like, just dramatic shit all the time.
Yeah, the finished
dramatic
Absolutely.
bullshit all the time.
Yes.
And not the grind, you know, and like.
So I would ask you, are you seeing a shift or a pullback on, because I could see that you took like your purpose shifted to more a human approach.
Yes.
And your passion, that's where it went.
Yeah. I got caught up. I did. Yeah. I got caught up for a couple of years. Yeah.
So would you see that's something we need, or are you seeing that's fallen back, or something we still haven't stepped upon in your industry, or as Instagram as a whole, or any social media? It's something we need at this point?
You know, it's funny because I know we've talked a lot about social media, but I always, most of the time I speak in general when I speak.
Yeah.
So when I say stuff like that, I'm definitely speaking in general, but it applies to social media as well.
Right.
I just think it's human beings, period.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And just in general, we need to get back to the heart of the matter, more human shit. We need to be more human. You know, I have this conversation with my friends all the time. You know, Carlos and I, we have beers all the time. We talk about this shit all the time. And it's like the one element that we always forget whenever we talk about institutions, boxes, labels. Right. We always forget about the human element when we get too caught up inside the system of that box or that label.
Yeah.
And social media can be a box or a label. So can my career. So could, you know, any of us. Like, it could be anything. It could be political issues. You know, we talked about that earlier a little outside. Like, you can't forget about the human element. And if you forget about the human element, the entire conversation, the entire point is now mute. Yeah. Because now you've taken the human out of it.
Right.
And that's my biggest struggle with human beings right now is I can't talk about human shit with people. And I understand why, because sometimes it's too painful. It's too personal.
Yes.
It crosses certain lines of people ooh, that hurts. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, the moral fibers are what they were built on.
It rubs them the wrong way. They're like, oh, no, I'm not comfortable in this position.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I get it. So you got to be careful, you
Yes,
know, because you can really fuck people up by doing that
shit.
You
could, yeah.
You know? So you gotta tread carefully.
Yeah.
But it needs to be tread.
Yes.
You still got to tread it. Like, and that's my frustration, like, with everything. Social media, the whole shit. Like,
but it's true. Those conversations need to be had. Because to move forward, obviously the politics in this country right now is very divisive. I don't want to get too deep into it, but in order for everybody to move forward, these tough conversations have to happen.
Human shit.
You know. So that's.
So are we falling short as humans pretty much now? We lack the awareness.
In my opinion, bro, and you guys tell me your opinion too. My opinion is that human beings' number one flaw, and you can read this in the Bible and other scriptures and other human beings are so egotistical. And it's so easy for us to get prideful. You know, the biggest thing, even in like the book of Job, it's his pride. He thought he was so righteous. Like, the problem with humans is we think we have mastered being human. We have not. Because to me, there's two rules of humanity. Don't hurt yourself and don't hurt others. And we do it every day. In the words we say to our wives sometimes, or our friends, little snide comments, or littering, throwing shit into our earth and then polluting. Little shit like that, and then there's big shit like what we have been seeing on fucking TV, you know, and on the shit we you know are in our newsfeed. Yeah, this is the shit we haven't mastered, and yet we think we're evolving as a human species. Yes, maybe our phones are, maybe our technology is, maybe our medical is, maybe we developed a vaccine pretty quickly, depending on how you feel about it. But the reality is, as humans, we're not evolving.
Yeah. Those primal instincts are still there, and we have not controlled it yet.
Well, because I think
we're far from it.
What I really believe is I think technology is making us pull far and far away from actually being human,
connecting more.
Right? Because look how the steps is taking it. You know, from the 1950s, where you had to write a letter to someone, so your handwriting and everything, your manuscript was very important. To the later days of actually going to see people, because travel was so...
The energy output just to connect with another human. Right. We take it for granted now.
Right. You know, and customer service was so big in the industry. So in the 70s, man, customer service was like, whoa, wow. 80s became crazy. Now all of a sudden we're starting to pull back. Mm-hmm. Grubhub. Everything now is away from interaction with a human. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I understand COVID did something.
It was
before that.
Yeah, it was before that. It was happening.
From self-checkouts and shit like that. And honestly, guys, I hate self-checkout. For me to go in a store, pick out the product, put it in my bag, take it around, and check myself out, I should get a discount because I fucking
I just
worked
did the
there.
work for you.
I worked there.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And you ain't to put my shopping cart back. I should leave this shit in the middle of the street.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
That's
like
100%.
So with me, I go out to eat for that personal experience with people and the place I'm gonna spend money with.
Question: are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
See, I was gonna say this all changes though if you're an introvert.
Oh yeah, if you're an introvert.
I'm an introvert.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
So you're kind of like grub up, hell yeah, fucking just send me that shit. Like I don't need to go out.
I'm a low-key introvert.
Yeah, I'm an introvert by nature. As a kid, I was always like quiet. I'm very observant of everything that happened, everything that occurred in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why like a lot of people say a lot of fucked up shit happened in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but I look at them like it's just happened. I observed. I move on.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Yeah.
But as I've grown, I realized that I need to have a voice in order to translate and be able to connect with other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've naturally like evolved into an ambivert.
You push yourself into kind of like in that zone that you need to be in.
So I mean,
that's tough, man. That's uncomfortable.
It is, but it's also if the conversation is good, it's not really.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I mean, sometimes things need to be said, like having that conversation that is not easy, but you at the same time you have to realize that your perspective is 1 in 7 billion.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you need those other perspectives.
Yep.
Because you might be missing a piece of the jigsaw puzzle.
Like that painting up there, you're just one speck on that painting. That's your perspective. But look at all those other like specks on that painting up there that create the painting.
Right.
There's no way you're gonna see that painting with just your only little tiny perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
exactly.
Hey, actually, extroversion is how I met you. Actually,
how we met is a story, and I'm gonna explain.
If I was an introvert, I wouldn't even have met him. I mean, I'm both. I'm introvert, extrovert. I'm in the middle, where they call it. But dude, I mean, when I met him, it was kind of just like, hey, I'm a barber. Here, take my card. I was in that extrovert mode that day. I was like, hey, but if I was in an introvert mode that day, I would have been like,
well, let me keep it moving.
Yeah, let me explain the story real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, he got to take a sip. This might be a good one right here.
I think it's pretty exciting.
By the way, if you listen, this is kind of incriminating. Are you gonna tell the whole story?
I'm gonna tell the whole story.
All right.
It happened so long ago.
I wasn't driving. I wasn't driving.
Check this out.
I wasn't driving. I was a passenger.
All right. So I met homeboy here 2005. What's that? 15? Wow.
Let's not do age. We're old. That's fine.
All right. Let's stop talking about age. Anyways, I met him one day. I was driving a white Mitsubishi
Eclipse, right?
Eclipse GSX Turbo all-wheel drive. For those of you who are not into cars, it's pretty quick. It's a pretty quick car. So I was driving with my cousin on the I-10 in El Paso, Texas, where I met Mike here. And, I'm just minding my own business. And all of a sudden, this car pulls up. And my cousin was with me. He was in the passenger. This car pulls up. And first I don't look. I don't turn really. And I notice they're like right next to me, right there. And I look, and I see him kind of like smirking, have a little smirk, like up to no good look, you know what I'm saying? So I look at my cousin, I'm like, hey.
That's true.
I look at my cousin, hey, this white boy over here looking at me kind of funny.
This white boy is dogging me over here.
So he looks at me, he's like, what? I'm like, hey, this is... I look back, and he gives me that smirk again. I'm like, oh, they want to race.
Oh, they want to go.
So next thing you know...
I remember how nervous I was. I was like, oh shit.
He was in the passenger. I was driving. So he was in the passenger seat. That's the first face I saw. It was a Mitsubishi Galant that got next to me. I don't know why a Mitsubishi Galant would want to race a car that, the type that I had. Because it's like comparing Kobe to a G League player, to be honest. So next thing you know, I'm like, fuck it. We're racing. So we're hauling ass. I'm going through cars. They're like right behind me. They're doing the best to keep up. And
we almost died. But.
Maybe after like 20 seconds of racing, I'm like, all right, that's enough. I look at my cousin. Let's we're heading to the mall at the time.
Let them catch up.
So I get off the ramp to the exit to get to the mall.
Cielo Vista Mall, right?
Cielo Vista Mall for you in El Paso. You know where that's at.
Cielo Vista.
It's a cool little mall.
It's a cool little mall.
I love that mall. I love that mall. So I pull up and then I see the Galant behind me. I'm like, oh shit. And I tell my cousin, I think they're following us. And I'm like, well, fuck him. So we go to the parking lot, and they really follow us. I'm like, I mean, we might be a fight. Maybe I beat them or too bad or something.
They thought we were trying to fight.
They get out. I see a big smile on Mike's face. I'm like, okay, he's friendly. I think he's friendly. We get out.
I was just like, holy shit.
He was like, hey, man, that was some good shit, bro. Basically, in a nutshell, he was like, that's some good shit. I'm like, hey, man, you know what? We had a good time, I guess. And he was like, yeah, I just got here from New York. Mm-hmm. From New York. I've been here, I think you were there for like, what, you moved in 2005?
Yeah, I think I was only there a couple months.
Or whatever.
And my neighbor was from Chicago. He was the crazy guy driving.
Yeah. So he was with him. What happened to him? We don't know what happened to him.
No one cares.
Anyways, let's get back to the story. All right, check this out. So we pull up. We start talking. Whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm from New York. He's like, but I'm a barber. I'm like, oh, that's cool. He's like, here's my card. He gives me a fucking note paper, bro. He gives me a little note paper. Mike's cuts and styles. He wrote that shit.
Handwritten.
All that, phone number. He even drew some designs on there. So
the
creativity was evident.
Crazy.
It was wild. Back in the early 2000s and shit, right? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll hit you up. And I've been going to Supercuts and all that type of stuff. So finally, I'm like, hey, let's try this guy out. And Mike here was the first person to ever give me a lineup, and also he gave me a lineup maybe like a year later when I went. He was at the barbershop working at the barbershop. He did my eyebrows. First person to ever do my eyebrows. But I was kind of like falling asleep, and I didn't ask him to do my eyebrows. So he kind of just went. Zzz.
Those shits were big.
And I was like, "What the fuck are you?" Because I had now because of him, I do my eyebrows every 3 weeks. So this is the guy why I get haircuts every week. I almost didn't join the Marine Corps because I'm like, who's gonna give me a lineup? So I was this close to not joining. But Mike, I've been going to him since 2005 all the way up to 2009. We became very, very good friends. Play a lot of basketball together, and that's another story. This guy right here playing basketball, you better be ready to compete.
They don't believe that I was good at basketball.
No, he was pretty good, man. Like, this guy had a little.
I seen him outside for a few minutes.
This guy had he still. I don't know if I think he still has it. A little Kobe, Michael Jordan like fadeaway shot. Like the shot is the same. And there's games where we used to play, and I'm really pissed off. I'm gonna block this motherfucker. I can't block him. Maybe one time I fouled the shit out of him. We almost got in a fight that day. That's a different story.
You blocked me.
I have blocked you a couple of times. We blocked the shit out of each other. But this guy right here can compete.
But we never cock blocked each other. That's the most important.
That's the most important thing. And this is brought to you by non-cop blocking.
No, but
don't be that person, guys.
But yeah, no, Mike, I've known him for a long time. He's a great guy, and he's been consistent since day one. He's a go-getter. I saw his competitive spirit on the basketball court. To be honest, that's the first time I really saw how competitive he can be, and I know for a fact he's here right now because of his competitive spirit. And this guy right here. Follow him on the gram. If you're in El Paso, get a haircut from this guy.
It's because, bro, I hate, it's like I'm competitive with myself so much that my standard for myself was so high. It's always been high since I was a kid. And so every time, and I remember playing him, 90% of the time, I'd be mad at myself in a game and not the other person directly because I'm messing up my game. Either I missed a shot or something I did was wrong. Yeah. I'd be furious with myself. Most players get mad at the opponent. I'm there like raging, and they think I'm mad at them. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at me for messing my shot.
I'm supposed to hit that.
Oh, I know. I used to be so heated.
It's funny you should say that. I've noticed that a lot of, when people define their own success and they feel they're already successful, they all have the same factors. They have a high standard for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's always competitive, competing with themselves from the previous day, the previous month, the previous year. And it's almost, they're prideful, but it's still not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
COVID fucked that up too, man. COVID, it put a huge dent in that theory for me too, because it taught me that you're going to have to hit the pause button for a while. Or you're going to have to figure some other shit out because your quote-unquote progression and your ambition has to take a back seat right now. And that was tough. That was real tough.
Well, honestly, bro, I heard all the success about you, like from the start.
Him?
No, from you right now. Just all this stuff we hear.
A little bit from me. I brag about you.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like,
does.
You are.
They got me looking you up.
Your lineup.
Fine, I'll buy you a beer. I'll buy you a beer.
You know what I mean?
He told me. I'll get you a beer.
But what I'm saying is, you all the success you do, all this stuff that I'm hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like being a champ on your own playground, right? Yeah, on your own terms.
It's your own terms,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But we also set our own goals. How do you deal with failure?
Bad, not good. I don't deal with it very well. I'm not gonna lie to you like the Instagram guys do.
No, I want to know.
Failures are
here.
I'm just saying because real talk. This is why I'm saying that.
It hurts, right? It hurts.
People who win a lot of lot of trophies, a lot of this. You know, they get kind of complacent and I'm supposed to win. Well, my question is, how you deal with the failure part of it? Like, or when you feel like you failed.
I've wanted to quit barbering twice. Like you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like you don't handle it good. I mean, there are times when I do handle it great where I try something. Maybe it's just a simple thing like a haircut. It didn't come out the way I really wanted it to, and I'm like, fuck. But I just go, maybe I just need to tweak some things, and I go back to the drawing board. That's an easy failure. The hard failure is like when, you know, you probably let a client down, something that's abnormal for you. Okay. Or maybe like you let a company down, or you missed a great opportunity because this other barber got it before you for a company or some shit like that. That happens a lot. When that shit happens, you feel like a failure because you're like, damn, like, I know I could have done that. Why didn't they pick me? Am I not good enough? You start negative self-talk. Am I not good enough? Am I not the person that is capable, or do I not have the skills to do what they're looking for? Or, you know? Yeah. And that shit's hard for someone who's hard on themselves. Because what you're telling yourself is your standard for yourself is already so high. And you know damn well that like other people cannot set standards as high as you. So yet, you're second guessing yourself again still? Why would you do that, right? So it's like you're mind fucking yourself in a weird way. And so those kind of failures fuck with you because you're sitting there contemplating like, should I continue with this? Am I really about this? Of course you are. You wouldn't be here if you're not. Right. But it's hard because when it's just yourself talking to yourself, sometimes it's dark and it's lonely because you don't have like, if you don't have someone to call, and think I'd have Carlos, you know, Carlos is my best friend in El Paso. He listens to me. Anything I'm going through, he listens to me. And he may not know about the barber world. He may not be affiliated with the barber world, but he can listen to me and he knows me. And he can give me that insight that I need to pull me back to reality and be like, but look at this, this, and this. You know, look at what you do have. And that helps me come out of failure. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's why we need each other, going back to being human. You know, you need a human in your life that's a real human. Not just someone who's there for benefits and all that. Because when you do go through failures, someone's got to be there. Whether it's your dad, your mom, your brother, your wife, somebody's got to be there to be like, nah, shut up. Get back up. Stop being a bitch. You know? You need someone to call you a bitch and you're okay with it. You can't have a random who call you a bitch because you're like, hey, man. But if your friend's like, hey, man, you're being a bitch. You're like, damn it, you're right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Then you're gonna dust yourself off. You know? Yeah. Wipe the tears out of your eyes if you're being a bitch and then get back to the plan.
I think a support system, a strong support system.
Yeah. That helps failure.
You need it. Especially.
I don't believe people fail and they're by themselves and they get out of it by themselves. I don't think so. I think what they do is they don't give credit to where credit's due sometimes. Yeah. I don't think any of us are self-made. Thank you. I hate that. Exactly. I hate the term self-made.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. I agree 100%. Hate it. I agree 100%.
You know, and because that's a hard one, man. Accepting or even looking at failure, or what do you consider failure? Failure, that's a hard word in itself. It's just it's derogatory no matter how you move it around or whatever place you put it in a sentence, it's still derogatory or is a negative actual point of view. But I think it's also a building block. I think it's a building block also showing others, hey man, I took this route, might not be the best route for you. Yeah. You know, so it's good to spin it off. It's actually good to be to yourself, I think, harder on yourself to a certain extent because some people take it, you know, kind of far. Yeah. You need to be hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. You need to give yourself any passes. Mm-hmm. I put it on, and I always can relate things to working out and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only you know if you did that set right. Yes. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Only you know, especially when you're working out by yourself. Mm-hmm. If I don't think I did that curl all the way up, guess what? That does not count. Like, you know what I mean? So. Right. You know, and that's where I'm at. So, now, getting down to the whole thing.
The whole shebang.
Yeah. How long you been doing this again?
18 years.
Man, 18 years. 18 years. Guys, 18 years. He been doing this so long that his experience can vote. Mm-hmm. His experience
by itself. You know what? Tell the barber industry that, bro.
You know what I mean? His experience is and you can tell that it wasn't easy. But just like anybody that's been doing something for a long period of time, what keeps you hungry? What keeps you want to move? And I heard something you were saying earlier, and we ain't said anything about it because I know I see how humble you are. And guess what? I'm gonna pull it out. Okay. I'm gonna pull some of it out.
All right.
Now, We were talking about you. I heard you over this. You know, I'm eavesdropping, y'all. Yeah. I'm nosy as hell.
I noticed you were.
So, he was talking about actually how he helps people. Now, it's a way of helping people. Now, you've been doing this for 18 years. Mm-hmm. You have to hold yourself to a certain standard, especially when you're doing your services and stuff like that. But just you tell the story. Well, you tell a little the conversation, because I don't want to get it wrong. How do you help these people that can't afford the help?
So like back in the day, like for me, I'm a premium. What do you call a premium barber in El Paso? I'm
premature.
No, premium.
Oh,
like
premium.
I charge the
little
most.
Opposite of premium.
Like I charge the most in my city for my services.
Okay.
And so for me, monetary gain is like obviously it's important to feed your family. You have to make money. You have to progress, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when it comes to helping people, my opinion in America is that most of us don't need financial help all the time. You know, sometimes when I want to cut hair for free, I will, or if I want to do extra work on someone, I will. When it just comes out of me and I feel like this is the moment to do it, I do it. But I think honestly, one of my clients told me this the best. He was like, Mike, you know, you say things on your story like you like to have more to give more. He said, but I think you underestimate sometimes that your voice and influence and your positivity that you share is how you actually are helping people. Because you could give free haircuts away to people by the bunches, and that's fine. That's great. I was like, and that will last maybe a couple days or a week or two and make them feel good. But sometimes there's things you say to your clients, and he's like, and I've received this from you, but it's stuck in my head for years, and it changed the way I thought about things. He's like, and that to me, and to most people that you probably, work with or, touch, those are the things that I think matter more to them, even beyond hair. So yes, they got a haircut, but they also received maybe encouragement or some kind of perspective they needed to hear at that time. And I think that's the interesting thing, that a lot of people shy away from conversations because I feel like they don't want to rub people the wrong way or say something wrong. I remember one guy, he said something to me. He said, I'm going through this divorce with my wife. This, and this happened. And I'm telling you, if that guy steps up to me for my kid's sake, I really hope he does it. And I could tell he was really frustrated. And I went up to him and I said, right before the haircut was over and he left, I was like, you're not going to do that. And he was like, why? I was like, because I know you love your kids too much, way too much. And I can see it, Yeah. And he just looked at me and there was a pause, bro. There was just a pause. And I was like, that's how you help people. Like that moment where you have to tell the truth to them without being so abrasive, and you slide it the right way. That's subtle. That's what barbers can do. Barbers can subtly give you like that little bit of truth that you need without you even knowing.
That gentle touch.
Right. Yeah. And I think, like, again, going back, that's a lost art, but that's how you help people, And yes, you can help them with literal haircuts. Yeah. You can literally give them. I give combs away to the kids sometimes, little shit like that, like lollipops and shit. So they remember their barber and all that, whatever. But, but like, I think that just being vulnerable and being real with your people is how you help them.
And it's funny you should say that, because we did like a little giveaway, because if you have more, you give more. We're exactly the same way. Yeah. I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. It's not a lot. But we did a giveaway, to help people through the holidays. And it's $100, $50 here. And funny enough, it didn't do that well. It was just free money. Yeah. We put it out there. It's like, we just want to help people going through.
Just give them some cash. Yeah.
And I got more feedback from the things we were putting out, like, positive messages, how I went through like my 3 broken backs.
Are you doing the captions for your Black Sheep?
Yes.
Captions are amazing.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, they're amazing.
Thank you.
I'm gonna rob your caption one of these days.
You can have
slap that shit on my story.
They're good,
man. They're very good.
I always tell people, like, take it, put it out there. It's not made to be held by a single person. It's made to be shared, because one of the things, like, I'm big on history, and what I always tell people on the gram is like, it's our job to look at history and then evolve it, even push it even further, because that's our pretty much our groundwork.
It's our life lesson. It's our life lesson.
And like I said, what we found is just this 1 year that we've been working, it's usually when we get real and raw that we make the most impact.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's funny. A lot of people have it backwards.
Yes. Yeah.
And
they're fake.
I don't know if it stems from
they're just fake.
It stems from companies or where in culture they like, oh yeah, we'll give money away. This is the UN or something. We'll give money to third world countries and it'll fix the problem. And no.
Do you ever notice maybe it's just me and I'm ultra sensitive, but sometimes celebrities and organizations, I don't want to get religious, but they're like, hey, we're helping people, and you feel this sense of fakeness about their help. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, yes, you could give $100 million away to someone, or you could feed, all these people during Thanksgiving, all these turkeys. But it's like, well, what intent do you have? Because I feel like nowadays people can smell through bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's like, if you're not authentic about it, it's kind of like, what's the fucking point then?
Yeah.
You're just doing it for yourself now. And people can smell that. They know when you're doing it for yourself.
Well, I think sometimes get washed out when people have really good intent to try to do something, and there's so much bullshit out there, kind of get washes.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
It gets misconstrued. It gets the wrong message.
Yep.
People are you trying to be fake too, or or no, I'm just trying to help.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of people are trying to do it to self-promote.
Yeah, exactly.
They pretend. I mean, maybe they have they care a little bit, but a lot of times you can tell if they're self-promoting.
Yeah, well,
and
I get it.
You
have to self-promote it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You have to, for sure.
If you're giving something away, of course.
But there's a fine line.
You can tell, like you said, if it's bullshit.
You can smell it, man. There's sometimes I watch someone and I'm just like, I don't feel like their heart is in what they're doing. They're just doing it because I feel like it makes them look good.
Yeah.
In other words, and a lot of those people are already people that are already doing well. I didn't want to go here, but mega churches do this a lot. You're already a mega church. How many more members do you need? Build another building, bro. Or, I don't know.
What are you doing?
Why do you, if they just want more? I don't know. I don't know, man. That's just me.
It goes back to ego, you were talking about.
But
earlier,
at the same time, the Christians say God is good all the time. So God is still getting represented by all these good deeds anyway, even though they may come from a weird or bad place.
Yeah.
God's still gonna do what He does, right? Good shit's still happening. Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, I guess I'd rather them do that and be a dick about it than not do it at all.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's at least someone's benefiting from it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I guess
because maybe that little kid needs that backpack from that asshole. You know what I mean? That little kid might need that backpack from that asshole. I don't know.
It's a hard.
I mean, if that asshole came to me and threw $100 at me, I'm still taking it. Fuck you. I'll take the $100.
Asshole.
Stimulus, bro. Stimulus. Give me that stimulus check, bro.
Yeah.
I'm taking it.
Make sure it's more than 600.
I'm still taking it, bro. I'm like, fuck you. Give me this shit.
No, but with me, I went and sat in your chair for haircuts for 05, 4 or 5 years, and then every time I go back, I always make sure I hit them up. But ever since I got a haircut from Mike, it changed the way I perceived barbers, right? So now when I was in the Marine Corps in San Diego, I found barbers who can do more than just a haircut. Because to me, it's like, if I'm going to sit there for 45 minutes, whatever, for a haircut, let's have a deep and good conversation. And that's what I look for.
Okay.
When I was in California, now I'm in Arizona. You guys were at the barbershop this morning with me. You saw who I was kicking it with. Had great conversations.
Right.
Had a good time. It's not just about the haircut, like you said. The value is the whole experience.
Yeah.
So.
And you build a second community or a third community, however you are, you're becoming dynamic and a multifaceted person, and you can offer that much more the more you learn from outside your own little world. If you know what you can offer, if a barber talks to you and you know what you could offer, rather than just sit there, then you can bring that to the table the next go around. Rather than me, normally I sit there and because I'm so introverted, I don't make the first move.
Yes.
But once they get it out of me. I'm like, you're right on the money. Let's talk about some deep stuff. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And that just not only it might benefit him, may not. I mean, it just might make the 45 minutes go by longer. But to me, I was like, okay, I could take that and I can learn his perspective and bring that to the table for someone else, even if it's not in a barber setting.
100%. I totally resonate with that because that's what we do as barbers. A lot of times we're just listening. And it's funny because I try to talk to people outside of, industries that are not customer service centric. And it's funny, I can't really have debates or arguments or discussions with people that aren't in the customer service industry that don't experience tons of different types of people from all walks of life. because I noticed that their perspectives are very rigid.
Yeah. Very narrow.
Yeah, exactly. Narrow. And I feel like being a barber, even though it is per se a community, it allows you to touch different places that most people just don't get to like for 45 minutes to an hour dive into those places instead of, you know, just maybe like if you're a nurse, you just give someone a needle. Hey, have a nice day. It's rainy out, right?
You're learning. It's like a classroom setting.
Right. Yeah. It's weird. It's like you're a student of life when you're a barber. So that's the benefit we get.
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, because when I share my perspectives, people be like, "Man, bro, you blew my mind," and I'm like, it's weird to me because it's regular life for me. So what I say, I don't know why it would blow your mind because to me it's normal. Right. And that's why I get frustrated with people who don't understand certain concepts. Yeah. I'm like, bro, it's so normal for me and you don't get it. Like,
when you talk to so many people a day, you know, advice to how many people talk to as many people as you talk to in one day.
Bro, I mean, over the 18 years, bro, I mean, it's just like, I mean, unless you're like a counselor or something maybe, or like a pastor or like, not even a pastor probably, because they have like terminology you have to follow and they can't have beers and say fucking shit. So like they're not gonna get that raw. They're not gonna get real.
Yeah, they're gonna get real.
They're gonna have like church real.
Yeah.
Let's get real. Who watches, you know, PG-13 movies? You know, like they don't get like real. You know.
Yeah.
You don't see a pastor up there like, today we're talking about masturbation. And you're like, all right, turn your Bible to Leviticus. The donkey's dicks were.
Oh my God.
You know, Leviticus has donkey dicks in it, bro. It does. It's got. Look it up. It's in Leviticus. But like, no, I mean stuff like that. Like you know, like barbers are. I think tattoo artists as well. Tattoo artists have that too.
Yeah.
That's why you notice tattoo artists and barbers aren't really judgmental types. We're more like the right on types. Like cool. Like whatever you do in your life is dope. Like I don't judge because I've learned not to judge relationships. I've learned not to judge what people are going through because like you don't know. There's so many different so many backgrounds and histories to everyone that. What might be right for Joey is not right for Jimmy. Like, it's totally different. Like, and so, you know, it's made me just, which is cool, but also as a thinker, it makes my mind just boom. So, you know, those lonely nights in the shower, you're just like, holy fuck.
Those are great.
Life is crazy. Lonely nights in
No, it's true in the shower. You learn a lot about yourself. You're like,
you just be like, damn, this is some crazy shit. Shit I learned today. What the fuck?
Oh, shit. I find
myself talking about the exact same thing and almost attributing to common sense, but then I realize it's not common sense anymore.
No.
And you kind of have to take a step back. I'm like, then where is everyone else?
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary, right?
Are we that far ahead, or are they far behind?
I think we're in extreme. I think we're in extremes right now. I think we have far ahead, and then we have real far behind living in the same space. Yeah, and that's what's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because some people just don't want to move.
No,
some people are comfortable where they're at.
Yeah. And they're also some are comfortable, and then some are literally like mental block, like being brainwashed. Yeah. You're just blocked into a certain mindset. Yeah, it's like I had a paradigm shift in 2006 where my brain just all of a sudden I just saw everything differently. Don't know how it happened. I guess just searching for truth, you know? But the way that my friend described it to me was like, what you went through is like when you've never seen in color, and one day you woke up and you saw red for the first time, you're like, what the fuck is that?
It changed.
But I got curious about it. I was like, yo, oh shit, there's blue too? Wait, hold on here. So like you start like, you know, etching away a little bit, and it's scary because it's like jumping off the cliff a little bit. You're abandoning old thoughts, old behaviors, and old roots, and like going, hey, I'm going to try and learn this. And that's probably like the scariest thing for any human being to go through. Because you're abandoning things you were raised with. You're abandoning like old perspectives and
and that's very rare. So how does that like affect your dynamic when you either? I know it affects my family life. When like they came from a third world country, and all they know is what they've been told: the American dream. Work hard and you'll be successful, but if work hard and you'll be successful is probably like making $30,000, $40,000 a year.
Yeah, you're putting in long hours. If that makes you happy, you know, in the beginning, like a lot of our,
that's your success.
Like our parents, they don't know better. First generation, they don't know.
Actually, to them, that could be it.
That could be it. But I mean, no, that's success because you know what? That was their goal and they made it. That was their success.
Amazing.
For us, we see what they went through. We want better, and they want better for us. You know,
well, it's the same thing in black community. From slavery to now teaching your kids just to survive. Now teaching your kid to get a good job. And it keeps trickling down to when I love my father to death, but he wasn't taught to actually go for shoot for the stars. His job was to do well for his family, get a good job, and that's it. There's nothing about developing a new business for himself. You know, until we came along and he started he didn't know how to tell us to do it. He just knew not to restrict us from doing it. Yeah. Like that was the biggest thing, and that's one thing I can applaud him for. Like you know, all to the day, because he could have just been like any other parent from the South that was scared. You know what I'm saying? He'd been like, yo, no, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. He said, hey, son, be successful.
So seeing how they are, their set of rules is completely different from ours. Do you feel like it's a responsibility on us to take it further? And not only from our perspective, but seeing how other people are and where they are? Like, do we have to be the pioneers? Is that like I don't want to say a burden, but almost like a responsibility you have to fulfill?
I don't believe in obligations. Yeah. I just don't. I don't believe in it. I believe that I think if you love your parents, you'll just naturally do it. And if they're great parents, then you'll naturally do it. I think it's a natural generational thing where they just, it's like that theme just runs through your family. If you have that theme running through your family where it's like, hey, you know, we worked hard, we did this, you carry some of that with you. And, you know, maybe you build upon it, or maybe you land, quote unquote, if we're measuring equal or similar to mom and dad. And if you land similar to mom and dad or whatever the case may be, then, but if you were happy while doing it, I'm sure your parents would be fine with that too, man. It's just like, you know, hey, mom and dad had kids, grandma and grandpa had kids, great-great-grandma had kids, but you don't want kids? Why don't you want kids? It doesn't make me happy, you know? And so it's the same thing. It's like, well, at the end of the day, I don't feel obligated to have kids or obligated to do, you know, more or less, whatever. I just feel like you got to find happiness. And I think as long as you're happy, I think your parents are happy at the end of the day.
Very true.
And that all depends on, you know, like, again, like many factors, like, you know, how are you raised, who your parents were, you know, what kind of principles they taught you. Because I think, like, going back to before is like, you know, when I was a kid, my dad had this really nice job, bought a boat, had a huge house, and all that. We had the American dream. Yeah. But he wasn't happy. Yeah. And I'm like, and I don't think I could top that right now today. I mean, we had a yard, we had a pool, we had a swing set, we had a detached double wide garage. Yeah. Basketball hoop, long driveway, basement, 3-story house with an attic. Fucking huge, bro. Yeah. And looking at it all now, I'm just like, damn, that was the American dream. You know? Yeah. And he gave it up because he felt like he wasn't really helping people. He went and became a minister. Yeah. And so, like, it taught me, like, yeah, you can have all the cool shit and have the you know, the nice job and all that. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like he wasn't happy, and he did way better than his dad. My dad came from dirt, broke Irish immigrant, you know, great grandpa, and they had like 6-7 kids. You know, they would have to rush to eat to get the food in because like there's so many kids. Because they didn't want any food to be gone on the table. So my dad still eats fast to this day. Yeah. But I think you got to learn, like, it's okay to scale, you know, your family's generation or whatever. But you got to do it as long as you're happy doing it. You know, that's it.
So what would you tell people, like me, I didn't get that fatherly figure or anything, but I figured it out, you know. There are people out there who don't have those figures. Where would you tell them to start?
Oh, man, you need a mentor, bro. Oh, you need a mentor. Yeah, I think even if you have a father, you need a mentor. You need another male mentor. Because your dad's not perfect. Right. Your dad's not going to give you
perfect answer.
Read books and get mentors, because I think, like, people hate when I say read books. Audiobooks, Audible, whatever. Just fucking get information that's from people smarter than you. Because I get shit when I say read books. People are like, I don't like reading, bro. Hey. Fucking Audible, dude. Whatever.
Audible, yeah.
Podcast.
Or get a mentor, someone who can tell you shit that you're smarter than you, you know? Yeah. And so,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you got it, yeah.
No, because, I hear what you're saying. You say mentor, read a book. But at the same time, I think with the parents, there has to be some kind of influence on direction.
Oh, absolutely.
But you can't always have parents.
Huh?
Yeah, some people just don't.
No, I get that portion. Yeah, but we're talking about how to mold and actually, you know, get your kid to that different level. Yeah. I think it has to be, because if you let your kid just go out wild, granted their artistic skills will be fucking off the roof because now they can think of everything, but their management skills, prioritizing, responsibility, stuff like that they actually need to function.
They'll fail in real life.
And they won't make it. So I think making smart being cool again, I think will to me was my bread and butter in my household. I showed my kids smart is cool in the house by rewarding them with certain things, not just monetary things, but far as the way we speak.
Yeah.
If I think you're stupid, I'm going to talk to you like you're stupid. You bring me stupid grades in this house, guess what? I'm going to talk to you like your grades. Exactly. Until you start improving this whole method of how we doing things, guess what? I don't think you can go to the next level. So the next level requires responsibility. So if I can't speak to you a certain way, I can't say yes to you going out. So I did it a different way. Because you're going to have to buy your kids clothes. You don't want your kids to suffer. You don't want to use those things as a punishing factor. You don't want your kid to be sitting there Indian style on Christmas because they didn't do good in school and not get anything. Come on, man. That's a different wave that you're actually putting on them. So me, that's the things I took. And that's what I was saying. It's nothing of directing them, but like mentor. Right. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that. And all you guys that's older, don't think you can get a mentor that's younger. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. All right. All right. Like this old and I'm older than you. I can tell you all this. Shut the fuck up. Like real talk, man. Like because only thing you're doing is you're putting yourself in an island that we're not even going to help you if you get that. You understand that?
We're not throwing you a life preserver, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on now, dude. Like,
it's your last chance, bro.
Come on, man.
You're on the back nine, son. Smart up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be like that, guys. So, you know, and that's what I put out there. I never put age on intelligence or ideas. You can't. New ideas come from these new ages. Intelligence come from new thoughts.
I let my son teach me all the time, bro.
Hey,
he knows shit I don't know.
Yeah, my son be playing Fortnite and Minecraft, and he be telling me, I just listen. Yeah, man, I don't know what he's talking about, but I just listen. Cause
my son just became a lawyer.
Oh shit.
So just the ideal of that.
That's cool.
I taught my son his multiplication, and my son is now a lawyer.
That's awesome.
So for me not to understand that the transition can shift, I'm a fool.
Does he buy you dope Christmas presents? Because I'm like, yo, you're a lawyer now, dog. Like, you gotta look it up.
No, he does something even better.
Out of a speeding ticket.
I might hire him because this thing popped up, dude.
No, he did something better, man. He gave me a beautiful daughter-in-law and a grandbaby. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grandfather.
That's dope.
So, you know,
you're a grandpa already, bro?
Yeah, wear around my neck and all.
That's dope. Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
big brother,
you know,
you're like the youngest grandpa I know, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking at you. I thought you were like, you know.
So that's what I say. The gifts change. You know what I'm saying? So saying I got
that's
a dope
cool.
gift, yes, I did, man. And another gift he gives me is these conversations. My son called me just to talk, just to say, yo, what's good? And these are the transitions of understanding how you seeing your formula put in place and understand your formula can be given back to you.
Yes.
Because when I'm actually falling on rock lifestyle, I can always lean back and ask my son a question and feel confident because I taught that. I taught him to go out and get more information, not just rely on my information.
You're reaping what you sowed in him.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You know, and I do this and my daughters too. I just mentioned my son because he's the lawyer, but my daughter's the same way. Yeah. Both of them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I invested enough in them that I can go in that garden and pick some stuff. You know what I mean? So
that's dope. That's heavy.
Yeah,
hey, man.
That's heavy. I like that. That one spoke to me. That was good. My son's 13, so we're in that zone right now.
Oh yeah.
Wait, hold on. Why does your son look like he's ready to fucking compete in a bodybuilding competition, bro? Like, I look at him, I'm like, wait a minute. That's where I want to be,
bro.
What the fuck, bro? I've been lifting weights for years.
You're not the only one. I'm jealous of him too, bro.
Because I look at him like,
he's fucking ripped,
bro. What is going on here, bro? Like,
he's got all the hormones of the world right now. Well, he just looks at weights and he gets.
Well, me and him need to talk now. I might get him on some shows, man.
He might.
He can do it.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He'll get that.
My son's a nut, dude.
We'll get him on here.
No, he can walk with me. I'll train him. I got you, boy. You.
No, he knows.
Never mind, but
he knows what. Mike knows what he
I'm sorry, I don't need to train his son.
There's two people here with abs right here. And this is it right here.
No, my son. Going back to being a dad and a father, I like talking about this because I talk to my son the same way. When he's acting like an idiot, I talk to him like an idiot. When he's doing something very intelligent, and he does something great, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And I get inquisitive. So I feed his attention when good things happen. When the good things happen, I start giving him a real direct attention. Like, wow, like, so the test wasn't hard. What was it on? And did you study hard for that, or like how did you get 100? That's amazing. Like I sucked at school. How did you do it?
Yeah,
I was horrible in math. And like I noticed that with sons and dads, like when you feed the right attention, they do really, really well. Mm-hmm. When you starve the attention and the negative shit, it's like, oh, dad wasn't happy with that. Because unfortunately, it's just the reality of it is like when we're boys, we want daddy's A-okay. Pat on the back. Yeah. We're doing the right thing, you know?
Yeah.
Now, my 2-year-old daughter, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Hey. I see her, and I see a little girl that don't give a shit.
She doesn't give a shit.
And I met her real quickly when you gave me a haircut. I think it was like, a month ago or whatever. You know, I saw her. She came in.
She doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, you know, a little cute girl, whatever. But you could tell she don't give a shit, bro.
She don't give a fucking
so that,
shit.
Wait, how old is she?
She's like 2.
She's 2.
Yeah.
She's like, mine's 4, and that dude's like me incarnate.
That's awesome.
That's a little Wolverine.
No, it's great, so you understand him. My son's a little bit like me too, a little bit.
But it's like 2 adults going at it.
Oh, dude. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying like the bad parts too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Completely.
No, my son
like
is the good part of me, and he's the good part of my wife. Oh, he has very minimal negative in him. He's not perfect, guys. No, but like he's damn near perfect. Like he's a little creepy. That's how good he is. When he forgets to take out the trash, I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's okay, man. Just go get it. You know, like he's so fucking like, yeah, dude, it rages, bro.
Like all the trouble I was getting into at like. Probably 9, 10. He's doing it at 4. I'm like,
no.
Oh, wow. What?
Oh, no, bro.
And he's met him. This guy.
You know what that means, though? That means he might be a better person at 10.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah, or worse.
He might be ahead of the game.
We'll find out.
Who knows?
Hey, man, but this whole thing right here was dope, guys.
Yes.
Hey, man, we had an opportunity to dig into the life of Mr. Michael Kelley.
Thank you, bro.
I mean, starting from beginning, this has been 18 years in the making. And just to get a little small synopsis of what he's been going through, the steps he took to become the man he is right now, the ideal of what his ideal is of being a black sheep, how he is a leader in his industry. And you've seen the video. You've seen the interview. Y'all seen this, man. And this is all natural. Nothing scripted, man. Hey, man, this is your boy Rock from Rock Lifestyle. I got E. I got Alan. Michael Kelley. And this has been the Parlor, baby. And we out.
Till